Welcome. My name's David Yang. I'm originally from Beijing, and I'm with the Office of Engagement's UVA club team, as well as a recent grad of UVA and current graduate student at McIntyre. Congratulations on your admission to the University of Virginia, and thank you for joining us today on the virtual admitted student celebration. This event is brought to you in partnership with the Office of Mission and Global Affairs Office. A few housekeeping items to begin. This session will be recorded and will be sent to all registrants within the next few days. Live closed captioning is also available by clicking the link in the chat in a second browser window. These captions can be translated into 100 languages. Just click on the gear icon in the upper right corner of the caption window and select from the drop-down menu. If you have questions throughout today's discussion, type them in the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. Our behind-the-scenes staff will answer and respond to your question throughout the program. If you have specific admission questions, please visit the Office of Admission website. A link will be dropped in the chat. On behalf of UVA clubs, I'd like to offer a warm Wahoo welcome to our new Who's. Over the course of this program, you will hear us refer to the word club in two different ways. There's the more traditional way, as in student activity and clubs, but you will also hear about our UVA clubs, which are a global network of alumni, family, and friends. These clubs offer many programs throughout the year and allow you to connect with local UVA alum and community members. We hope you take some time to visit our website to learn more about your local club and what they're doing right now. We'll drop the link in the chat for more information as well. Today's program will feature a discussion with our 5 panelists about their experience at UVA. This discussion will be followed by a Q&A with our panelists answering some of the questions you submitted when you registered. I'd like to give a quick shout out to our silent moderator from the Office of Mission and the International Studies Office, who are busy behind the scene answering questions as they come in throughout the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. Now, I'd like to welcome Vice Provost for Global Affairs, Ambassador Steve Mole. So Ambassador Mole is the primary lead on global relations at the university and oversees international activities. He's responsible for overseeing and developing a wide array of services, programs, experiences, and strategic partnerships that promote global imagination within the university community. Ambassador Mole.
Thank you for that. Good morning, David, and good evening to all of our newly admitted students and their families. I'm so excited to welcome all of you to the UVA family. Not only are you going to get a great education here, but you're joining a family that will last a lifetime, and that includes you, the students, as well as parents. And we look forward to welcoming all of you here this fall and becoming part of our community. Our international student community is really vitally important to this university because of you. We are an international institution, and all of you will enrich us as a community. And while you'll learn a lot from going to university here, we're also going to learn a lot about you and about your countries. And we really look forward to learning more about where you come from, about your cultures, about your traditions, and most importantly, your food. So we hope you bring lots of good recipes and a good enthusiasm to come here and join us here. We have a number of programs for all of you to welcome you into the community. Of course, the International Student Orientation, like the rest of orientation, will take place from August 20th to 22nd this year. And we look forward to seeing you in person and welcoming you here then. But before then, please be sure to participate in a number of virtual programs that we are planning for the next few months to provide some facts about how life works here at UVA, how the health system works, how the community works, and how you can participate more fully in life here. We'll also provide sessions on how to navigate the immigration process to come here with your visas and enroll on time as a student. We, in fact, provide programming throughout the year for our international student community. We have an international house that regularly organizes activities for all in our international community. And throughout the year, we also have special seminars and programs to help you through your time here, not only at the University of Virginia, but in the United States, living here in the United States, getting used to American culture and being able to understand some of the funny ways we Americans speak sometimes. So we're really looking forward to engaging with you throughout your time here.
Thank you so much, Steve. And as an international student myself, I can definitely say I really enjoy those programs, as well as bring my own recipe to Charlottesville from Beijing, which was a great experience for me. So Steve, can you tell us a little bit more about the ways that UVA supports students during their time on ground in terms of academic, wellness, social opportunity, and career preparations?
Yes, absolutely. So we have an International Student and Scholars Program Office, ISSP. So all of you have already been in touch with them because that is the office that provides you your I-20 form to get a visa. So if you have any problems ever during your time here with getting visas, with navigating how to cross the border into the United States, please be in touch with us, with the ISSP office at any time. That's our most important function in that office, is to make sure that you have everything you need to get here. Once you arrive, we have worked with the student government here at UVA, and all of you will understand that student government is a really important part of UVA's tradition. David, in fact, used to be the international student representative on our student council. And the student council works with us to organize the Wahoo Welcome Program to actually greet students, international students, when they arrive at the airport, usually at Dulles Airport in Washington, and to bring them here. And then once you are here and you go through the orientation program, ISSP will be available to help students who are, for example, interested in remaining on in the United States to work after they graduate as part of the optional training that the United States offers international students to study here. We also have an international student support circle that meets every week that all international students are welcome to. And that's a great opportunity if you have concerns or want to connect with other international students or with university administration. You will be able to have a weekly opportunity to engage with that group. Our Career Center does a terrific job helping all of our students, Americans and international students alike, in helping to arrange internships, in helping to arrange participation in employment recruitment sessions, especially as you begin to get closer to the end of your time here as a student. And so please be sure to get to know the Career Center very early on here. They also help place students in jobs internationally. So even if you don't want to work here in the United States and plan to go home after your time here, the Career Center will help you do that as well. Our student health service, all of you will have full access to our student health clinic, which provides 24/7 support for every health need that you might have, whether you catch a cold or catch the flu, or you need an immunization, or you have mental health challenges that you would like to talk through. Those services are available to our students 24 hours a day, every day of the week. And then we have lots of fun activities through the year, whether it's cooking classes, arts and crafts classes, hiking. Charlottesville, if you haven't been here yet, is a beautiful location with lots of mountains and hiking and lakes and rivers nearby. And so we organize regular activities for those. And we celebrate special occasions throughout the year, such as holidays. And they're a great opportunity to bring our community together to celebrate all the things that we have in common. Finally, I'd say when you get here, one of the great things about UVA is there are hundreds and hundreds of clubs that students organize among themselves. If there are a couple of, for example, Chinese student associations that club that people can join. There are Nepali student organizations, Indian student organizations. Every major country has its own student organization, but we also have a wide range of sport clubs, from badminton to rugby to tennis to swimming, and there are plenty of opportunities there. And then there's a debating society and cultural promotion and artistic societies. So you won't be bored. There are plenty of things to do, and you'll learn all about those when you arrive here in the fall.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much, Steve. And certainly I can speak on that. And UVA is a fun place for all of our students with all the activity and club events going on all the time. So now, what about some of the advice for their families? I'm sure a lot of parents and family get nervous about their student being so far away from home.
Well, I personally relate very much to how you feel, because before I came to work at UVA 6 years ago, I used to work as an American diplomat, and so I know what it's like to be far from home and to be far from family. And so it's for that reason that making sure our international student community is well supported is really my highest priority as vice provost here. So I encourage any of you, those parents and family members who are watching, anytime you have any concern about your students' experience here, please be in touch with me anytime. I carry my phone with me 24 hours a day, and am ready to respond to you to make sure that any concerns that you have are being addressed. We have, as I mentioned earlier, a wide range of health support here, a lot of student activities. We have an expert staff to help with immigration. And so I can tell you that any of the issues that our international community faces, in the 6 years I've been here, we've always had a group of people ready to help and respond to help fix the problem. So please be sure that we will take care of your children here, of your students. We create a safe and healthy environment for them. But if you ever have any concerns, please be in touch. We want to hear from you and work with you to address whatever concern that you might have.
Well, Ambassador Mole, thank you so much. We're going to have you hang around for a little bit, but I'd like to introduce our panelists now. But first, a quick reminder, live closed captioning is available for today's program by clicking the link in the chat in the second browser window or on your phone. These captions can be translated into 100 languages. Just click on the gear icon in the upper right corner of the caption window and select from the drop-down menu. Without further ado, I'd like to invite our guests to join us. Well, great to see you guys here. Dheeraj, your camera is off and now it's perfect. Great to see you guys here. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'd like to start with some quick introductions. Elise, do you want to start by introducing yourself, who you are, your hometown, where you are currently, and maybe your major as well?
Yeah, thank you, David. I'm very glad to be here. So my name is Elise Zhao. I am originally from Xi'an, China. And right now, I am a fourth-year student at the McIntyre School of Commerce, studying finance. And right now, I'm in Charlottesville.
Great. Thank you so much, Elise. Now I'm going to switch to Dheeraj.
Hey everyone, my name is Dheeraj. I am from Palakkad, which is in Kerala. So it's one of the two southernmost states in India. So I come from India. I currently live in Washington, D.C. At the University of Virginia, I majored in economics and statistics and minored in leadership. I currently work as a senior associate at Berkeley Research Group. We are an economic consulting firm, and I work and live in DC. Happy to be here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Raj. You're not too far away from us. And Terry, would you like to introduce yourself?
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Tang from Beijing, China, class of 2020. I studied computer science while I was at UVA. And now I work as sports agent and I travel between China and the US very often.
Perfect. Thank you. And last but not least, Sarah, you are one of the more special guests for us today.
Good morning. I'm Sarah Farrington. Our daughter Ellie graduated last year, so past parent. I live in the Bahamas and I'm currently there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, now let's start by going around the panel of each of you maybe describe a little more about your time at UVA, include what activity you were involved in and what made your UVA experience meaningful. Terry, let's have you go first.
Okay, so I would say my experience at UVA was really fun. I loved it. I would say Charlottesville is a beautiful city and it's a magical place where I really got to explore all kinds of my interests. As I talked before, I studied computer science, but I got to work as sports agent and I got to do things that I had never done before. I did theater. I was a lighting designer. That was fun. And I joined the McIntyre Investment Institute, which is a long-short equity fund run by students. And I think what I learned there still helped me today. And I also play basketball. I run a basketball club. I got to meet friends that I still talk to today, actually daily. I would say they're lifelong friends. And yeah, and our men's basketball team won the national champion while I was there. That was crazy. So yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, the men's basketball champion, that was definitely a fun memory to have, I'm sure. Elise, do you like to go next?
Yeah, definitely. So I am participated in a lot of different organizations, mainly related to McIntyre. But in my free time, I really love volunteering. So I am involved in Madison House, which is a nonprofit organization, and I'm in the subdivision called Madison House, called Cash, where I serve as tax reporters and help residents of Charlottesville to do their taxes during the tax season. And I would say I really find that experience very meaningful. And I'm very grateful for, all the student organizations that can provide all sorts of opportunities for us to try something new.
That's great. That's great. Elise, I know you helped me with my tax this year. So thank you for that. You're definitely a great volunteer. Duraj, would you like to share a little bit more about yourself?
Sure, yeah. So I went to UVA from 2018 to 2022. So I've been out only for the last, well, it seems weird to say, a year and a half at this point. But during my time, again, there's plenty of clubs. And I think one of my favorite things about UVA was, even though there are like around 2,000 clubs that are already there, there's always you're encouraged to form your own club. So I think me and three of my friends, we came up with a club during between my first and second year. So I think, I like to think of UVA as a canvas where, you're given the tools and you can either make use of what's already there or you can make your own, I guess, painting. In other ways, I was also a resident advisor and a senior resident. I'm sure you'll keep hearing these two words quite a lot during at least your first year if you choose to live on grounds or on campus housing. Other than that, I was very involved with, Madison House, and things like other outdoor clubs, hiking clubs. So I think there's plenty to go around. So I think the one thing I would say is, make use of everything. And it's a very continued relationship as well, because right now, even after graduating in a year and a half, I'm constantly in touch with my professors. I'm in touch with some of the club members that I was part of. So it never leaves you, and it's pretty much a relationship that you have for the rest of your life, and something that you can not only use for your first 4 years there or 5 years there, but pretty much for at least your first 5-6 years. It still feels like you're part of UVA. And then I'm sure once you get it into, at least when I'm here in DC, we also have a DC alumni UVA group. So I think our alumni presence is pretty strong, almost everywhere. And so yeah, make use of everything, and you're in for the best 4 years of your life through UVA. So congrats, everyone.
Thank you, Raj. And definitely, this is a very close community in that it stays as a lifelong relationship. So, yeah. And Sarah, would you like to share a little bit about how maybe some of the experience you had with UVA, or your kids had at UVA?
Sure. Well, our daughter absolutely loved every day she was there, and as you've all said, has lifelong friends and now lives in Spain, but is still very, very connected to UVA. Is actually, I think, starting some alumni stuff in the Bahamas, because we don't actually have a chapter here yet. But one of the things for parents that are listening, a friend of ours from here suggested the Parent Fund, which is a group of parents that go over all the club requests for funding to all different levels. And it was a wonderful way to meet other parents, particularly international parents, but also to know what was happening at UVA. So as we don't have any connection to Virginia, we don't really have any connection to the US necessarily. It was wonderful to come to the parent events, meet other parents, and then go together to watch a basketball game or a football game, or to get to do things that we otherwise wouldn't really have known about. And your involvement can be as big or as small, as time consuming or not, as you choose within the Parent Fund. So that's sort of more of what we did when we were there. And then through our daughter Ellie, just can't say enough about how helpful everybody was, and how family, and just everything about her 4-year experience was wonderful. And being from not being American didn't make any difference at all. In fact, just everything was great. So Parent Fund, I would say, was a real help.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sarah. And yeah, when I first decided to come to UVA, I was a little worried about transition and what would be like from Beijing to Charlottesville. Elise, what was your transition experience like from home to college? I know you had quite a bit of a unique one.
Yeah, so I was a little bit worried as well when I first came to the States from China, but I was lucky enough that I got a bunch of very good friends who are mainly like upperclassmen, and they showed me around Charlottesville and like really taught me the way to navigate through campus. So I would say that friendship really helped me a lot. Besides that, I live at IRC, which is one of our residential college, and I would say the residents, assistants, and the teachers over there, they're really nice and kind. They will always provide us with all sorts of bakeries and like bagels, and also all sorts of food, and they really make IRC feel like home. So I really appreciate them for doing that.
That's great. Any advice you would give for first years?
I would say just explore as much as possible, and don't be afraid to make friends. And you'll never know, like maybe at some point you'll meet friends for the rest of your life.
That's great. Thank you so much, Elise. Niraj, I saw you nodding when Elise was responding. Would you like to share a little bit more about the transition experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, I always think it's pretty weird that at least when I look back at my experience, or I think most of the international students that I at least you speak to, we all came to UVA as pretty much UVA was our USA for the first time, right? Because many of us had never been to the US before. So I think it was kind of it's always risky, to go to a place where you don't know anyone, where you probably don't have any family nearby, or you don't have well-set friends there. But I think that's the most beautiful thing about UVA is that whenever you get there, you start making friends through your orientation sessions. I know my three best friends today came from my separate orientation session that we had for international and out-of-state students. So it really truly shows that your experience begins even before you get admitted. And I think that's pretty much a trademark that UVA can boast about. And I think one of my biggest takeaways was how involved I used to be with the ISO. I think the international office that we have, studies office that we have at UVA is very, very helpful in guiding us through, different phases of our college life and interesting circumstances. I hope this never happens again. But, I think anyone who graduated around my time, we also had to go through the pandemic while being at UVA. So I think that was also a unique part that we had to, trottle upon. And I think UVA was really helpful in terms of understanding, what can you expect in terms of making things available virtually, even though you're away from grounds. I went back home. So but I still remember some of my friends who got stuck there, and UVA was still helping them with, just giving them personal and mental support during, very, very challenging times. So I think worst comes to worst, you'll always know there are people and resources out there to help you.
Thank you, thank you. And Terry, same question. What was the transition experience for you, also as someone from Beijing to Charlottesville? And do you have any advice for our first years?
Yeah, my advice would be just take it slow. You get to explore everything here. And I would say when I'm first here, it's kind of overwhelming, but in a good way. There are just so many new people, so much information. I feel like I was a sponge, just try to absorb everything. But I would say both in the classroom and outside of the classroom, take it slow. Talk to everyone, talk to people you met, and explore new things. And don't try to like impress anyone right away. And just do the homework and try to explore new class. There are just so many class offered here. I think try something like philosophy. It's fun, actually, not as dry as you would think. So take it slow, explore. That's my advice.
Thank you so much, Terry. Certainly, maybe not trying too hard at the beginning, but you guys all have impressed all of us in this time of your life. And Sarah, as a parent of a Who, you have a unique perspective here. Can you tell us a little more about what it was like being a UVA parent? And I know you touched on the Parents Fund, but what advice can you give to our families as their student transition to UVA?
Gosh, I would say, well, I would agree with the other panelists. When we first arrived, it really was overwhelming because it was big and campus was beautiful, grounds were beautiful, but a lot to take on. We didn't get to go there as often because obviously we all live far away. So I would say just when you're there, as involved as you can be with all the things that your son or daughter are doing when they first arrive, and just helping with the moving in and all of that sort of thing. One of Ellie's best friends was also in her orientation group, who ended up being her roommate for 3 years when they lived off grounds. And so the support system there, I'm still amazed at the size of the university and how much support was given to Ellie, whether it was that she knew it was happening or just quietly somebody would give us a call or just communicate through an email to say, oh, bumped into Ellie today on grounds and she looks really happy, everything's great. So I guess just a lot of sort of contact, whether it's by phone or whether it's in person. I was very overwhelmed every time I came on grounds to see the level of school spirit that I couldn't explain until I went there. And to go just to be at a tailgate party at a football in the fall or basketball in the winter, whatever it was. So I guess don't really know other than just to say they're so well cared for. And a lot of kids, it's their first time being away from home. So as much involvement as you can have, but also know that they are incredibly safe, happy, and very well quietly covered, whether it's dining, whether it's all the clubs they get to go to. Ellie was involved in Greek life, I think, in her second year, and enjoyed her sorority outreach programs. So I would say I have nothing but great things to say about being a parent, and just trying to find the balance. She was our first one to go to university, so trying to find the balance of being supportive without asking every day, how are you? Are you doing this right? Are you doing that right? So.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And I know you mentioned you haven't got too many times to spend some days on ground, and hopefully we look forward to welcoming you to Charlottesville sometime soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks, everyone. Steve talked a little bit earlier about what support structure are available to UVA student and their family. Of course, our panelists also mentioned that. But we would like to hear the perspective on how UVA support each one of you during your time on ground in terms of wellness, social opportunity, and career preparation. Elise, would you like to start first?
Yeah, definitely. So UVA got a lot of support structure, but what really impressed me is their career preparation. So as an international student, it was really hard for me to find an internship during my second year and third year. But I was lucky enough that I got to I seek help from the UVA Career Center, and they really helped me to prepping my resume and finding new directions for my internship. And during my second year summer, I actually participated in one of the program that UVA Career Center organized, and got to help a nonprofit organization with preparing their business structure and also developing their curriculum. And after I got admitted to McIntyre, their career center is also pretty good in in providing us, and especially the international students, with all those unique resources that we may need. For example, there's a list of companies that really sponsor H-1B that I didn't expect that our school will keep a record of. But those resources are really helpful, and I'm very grateful for the support that career centers at both UVA and McIntyre provides.
Well, thank you so much, Elise. Well, as I mentioned, the UVA Club Global Network earlier, Terry and Raj, as recent grad, do you have anything to add about support on ground, or would you like to talk a little bit more about how UVA still support you after you graduate and in your career and personal life? Raj, why don't we start with you?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think I mentioned earlier that at least on the post-grad part, there's still, alumni clubs that I'm part of. And funnily enough, one of my favorite professors at UVA, she moved to DC too. So I think she was always she was a mentor to me during my time at UVA and still continues to be one. So I think, having those relationships have definitely been really helpful, even when I navigate my new life as a young graduate who's working in a new city. So I think that has been really helpful. But I think in terms of support on grounds, as I said, I majored in economics, and the economics department has its own career guidance office too, called the Economics Career Office. So I know Miss Jen Jones, who was really helpful to me in terms of, looking for internships or looking for jobs. I never knew that the current job I am doing as an economic consultant, I didn't even know that this existed until my fourth year. So it's funny how quickly you learn about things and how quickly you get prepared on these sort of things. And funnily enough, I guess 2-3 months ago at this point, I actually went back to UVA for a recruiting event where it just felt interesting to be on the other side. And I guess it's a full cycle, right? Because you start off getting a lot of help. And then slowly you try to find your feet at the university. And then once you're out of the university, you start helping others out. So all in all, I think it's been a very holistic journey for me so far. And I do know that I plan to go to grad school at some point in my life and hopefully pretty soon. And a lot of guidance and mentorship and recommendation letters and so on and so forth, all those formalities and just plain advice still comes from the people that I reach out to from career office, the international studies office, and then also just from my professors who are probably going to be writing some of these letters. So all in all, professionally and personally, I think UV has been a pretty solid rock in my life in terms of having friends or just mentors or just people who give me advice that, that I would turn to and I would trust with some of my more personal information as well. So yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Raj. And hopefully we can get you back to Charlottesville for grad school. And Terry, I heard you have a really interesting story that you have with UVA Club afterwards. Would you like to share that?
I would say it's actually before even I got on grounds. So UVA, I know UVA Club globally, they are organizing send-off in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, please go, because I actually first met my wife there, and we just got married last year. So what more support can club bring you than like let you meet your wife, your future wife? So so please go, and you got to meet other new coming students, and you got to talk to them, and actually it will make your adjustment when you got on grounds easier. So I think that's a huge support. And as everybody said, the career office really helped when we were looking for jobs and when we were trying to advance our career. Even after we graduated, it still helps. We could still utilize the resource from the career office, from the alumni association. So yeah, I think we got plenty of resource, and yeah, you can feel free to utilize them.
Oh, thank you so much, Terry. Congrats on that, and definitely do attend our UVA local club events. Although I wouldn't guarantee that you will meet your wife there. There are certainly wonderful events. While moving on, student self-governance is an important aspect of UVA life. Elise, can you quickly tell us a little bit more about what that's like and what you have learned from that?
Yeah, for sure. So I was really amazed and surprised by the number of organizations that UVA has. And like what Diraj said just now, even though there are tons of organizations, there's always place for you to start your own one. So me and my friends actually started a organization called International Student Union when we were our second year, I think. And our main goal was to support international students and to build a bridge between them and the local students. And for that period of time, when we were like organizing it and applying for a status as a organization, our school really helped a lot because our like student council, they got a lot of experience in setting up new organizations. And I do find that resources really helpful. And also during my third year, I also participated in the student council under the International Student Committee. And so there, I really find it meaningful and enjoyable to stand out for international students and to organize events on their behalf. So I would say student governance really gave me strength and gave me a platform to express myself and to address issues that are sometimes overlooked. So I think those are some of and those really make my UVA experience unique.
Thank you so much, Elise. And thanks to everyone for sharing your thoughts with us. As a quick reminder, live closed captioning is available by clicking the link that was just dropped in the chat in a second browser window. These captions can be translated into 100 languages. Just click on the gear icon in the upper right corner of the caption window and select from a drop-down menu. Now we're going to shift gear a little bit and answer some of the questions that came in during registration. We had so many great questions, and unfortunately, we won't have time to get to all of them. But our colleague will drop some links in the chat about orientation, housing, and international student and scholars program. And at the end of the presentation, we will also provide resources and a list of other opportunities to connect with UVA and ask questions. Also, our behind-the-scene moderator are still answering your question live in the Q&A box below. Thank you again to our silent moderator for the great work they have been doing responding to your questions throughout the program. Clubs and activities were by far the most popular topic in the pre-submitted question. UVA has over 1,000 clubs on campus and cover just about any interest you might have. And our panelists already discussed their experience involved with the clubs. We will drop a link in the chat for our student activity site, where you can find a list of current clubs and more information. So, well, let's take a look at the question that we received before this event. Okay, so one of the question that we received is, a lot of people want to know about Greek life on ground. Do any of you have experienced that there, Greek life during your time at UVA? And maybe, Steve, we can start with you talking a little bit about the university's perspective on Greek life.
Fraternities and sororities are a really active part of social life here on grounds. We have a wide range of fraternities and sororities who really comprise every interest, from academic to volunteer work to just good fellowship among our students. It's not required, certainly, to join a fraternity or a sorority. I think about a third of our students do join them. You don't have to. People have really rich and fulfilling lives if they're not members. But a lot of students enjoy the extra friendship and kind of family atmosphere that comes with being in a fraternity and sorority. So there are many opportunities to join them. And each of them, and as we get into the fall, when they start soliciting applications for membership, each of them will be very eager to provide lots of information to you about why you should join them.
That's great. Thank you so much, Steve. Any of you guys would like to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I can share a little bit more. So although I am not part of the Greek life of UVA, but a lot of my friends are. And I would like to say that there are a lot of multicultural like fraternities and sororities on grounds. And as international students, I'm sure like some of you may have concerns of, whether you can like really blend into, the Greek life. But I just want to say that there are fraternities that are comprised of international students, and they are really a bonded group. So there's no worries about finding the right group to join.
Thank you so much, Elise. And well, as all of you guys kind of mentioned previously, this is really a tight community between students, community members, professors, and staff of the university. So did any of you engage much with your professor outside of class? And what opportunity are there to interact with faculty and staff on ground? Terry, yeah, go ahead.
I'll go. So because I was a computer science student, I got to talk to my professor outside the classroom to ask him to do a lab for him and work in his lab. That's how I got my first computer science related like internship sort of during the summer. So And I got to talk to my lighting technology professor, where I got to volunteer at his place to do the lighting board operators and to do extra work to earn extra money actually for him. So there's plenty of chance you could interact with them, and they would love to talk to you, to listen to your need and what you want to do outside the classroom.
Thank you so much, Harry. And Steve, would you like to share a little bit more of that student, faculty, staff interaction from a staff perspective?
Oh, absolutely. Each new student will have an academic advisor that many of them develop into very strong relationships for the entire 4 years that a student is here, and even beyond. I know many of my professor colleagues here still remain in regular touch with their students as they move on into their careers after leaving UVA. All of our professors have regular office hours. We really pride ourselves on being a teaching university, and our university was founded by America's third president, Thomas Jefferson, more than 200 years ago. And his most important value in founding this university was to create a completely different kind of university where the faculty and students will be as close to each other as possible from a day, at night, on weekends. And our faculty today really take that commitment for more than 200 years ago very, very seriously. So I think you'll find your professors to be welcoming and open to you, and good mentors and advisors for you.
Thank you so much, Steve. And I can definitely add to that. It is definitely a great relationship between students and their professors. And for me, last fall, I actually participated in Take Your Professor to Lunch program, where I invited one of my professor at McIntyre to lunch, and he was also from Beijing. He went to Tsinghua University for undergrad, and we talked about his journey becoming a professor and also transitioning from China to US, also to Charlottesville. So I would definitely say we build a lifelong relationship and very meaningful relationship with our faculty member. So one of the questions that came in live during our discussion is that how easy is to live off ground after first year in terms of getting housing, commute, and safety? Elise, would you like to start by sharing a little bit of your perspective?
Yeah, definitely. So me and my friends started to look for houses way before the fall semester of our third year, mainly because there are a lot of great apartments near grounds, but we really want those with, the best locations. So I would suggest the incoming first years to first enjoy your first year life in dorms, and then use the opportunities to look around the campus, see, which area you really like, and then find apartment earlier, and plan with your roommates early when you want to live off grounds.
Thank you so much, Elise. Terry, would you like to share a little more about your experience living at UVA?
Sure. I started to live off grounds after my first year. So and I think it's very easy to find a location to live. We got plenty of resources, but the easiest way to do it is just to talk to the upperclassmen, to your friends you met at school, and they will be live all over the place, and you got to learn different location, how it's like to live like around the corner, how it's like to live on Jefferson Park Avenue. And I think there's the locations are very different. Some are more more vivid nighttime living style. Some are more quiet places, and some are even like luxurious apartments. So you got plenty options. Just talk to people, and I think different groups of students are organizing like info sessions to live off on grounds, and those apartments will have people coming on grounds to talk about their properties. So just keep an eye on those, talk to other people, and yeah, and you're enjoying your first year life at dorm. Maybe you want to live on dorm as well. So just keep your option open and talk to other people.
Thank you so much, that. And speaking of dorm, Niraj, I remember you mentioned you were RA. Would you like to share a little bit more about what life was like living in a dorm? And I think this might be the first time for many of our students to live in a college dorm.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if I give you a quick brief note on what being a resident advisor is. So I think once you get into your first year dorms, every floor would at least have one RA. RA stands for resident advisor. So these will be upperclassmen who live with you in your dorms and who are going to be your first point of contact for support and any kind of advice that you need. So I think, yeah, I was just gonna do a plug for being an RA or an SR. So say there are 6 floors, you'll have 12 RAs in a building, and these 12 RAs are overseen or supervised by a senior resident who is also a student who's just been an RA before and has then gotten promoted to that position. So during my 4 years, I was both a senior resident and a resident advisor. And frankly enough, I think 3 main ways that I would summarize it is that you don't pay rent, you get a meal plan, you don't have to worry about looking for housing, and most importantly, it's the best way that you can give back to the community by being a form of support to your fellow students. So I think for me, when I came in, I was lost. I think some of the funnier things was I was just confused by people pretty much drive on the wrong side of the road. And I very quickly realized that it's more of an India and a UK thing that we drive on the wrong side of the road. So, things like that, you always just like reach out and then you make connections and it just becomes like a funny episode in your life. So my RA was really helpful to me in those first 3 weeks, overcoming jet lag, helping with classes. And I think one of the best advice that I got was, just like Terry also mentioned, take it slow and easy, because your first semester on grounds, you wanna know what is where, and also at the same time you also want to be comfortable, right? So I wouldn't overwhelm myself with taking 6 classes that are incredibly hard. I would just do maybe 4 or 5 classes that are moderate to easy, so that you get what the class atmosphere is like. Because for me, when I came in, it was a huge change from how the education system worked back home to how the education system works in the US. And then you also have more free time to go through all the 1 million clubs that we have at UVA. So make the best of your experience inside class, inside your dorm, and also outside both your class and your dorm.
Well, thank you so much, Raj. Well, time passed fast. I think we only have time for our final question for the evening, which is what is the one piece of advice you would give for our incoming first years and their families? Elise, you go first.
Yeah, so I think what I will recommend for everyone is to keep your options open and to explore as much as possible, be it like the way of life in the States and in Charlottesville, or from the academic point of view. Just explore as much as possible, and you may find your aspirations to be completely different when you graduate.
Thank you, Elise. Sarah, what is the one piece of advice we give to our families? You're on mute.
Sorry. I would say enjoy every moment, because you cannot believe how quickly the 4 years goes by. I still can't believe she's not there.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And Steve, what is the one piece of advice you give to our students?
I would say come here with an open mind, prepared to be a little uncomfortable. You'll be living in a new culture with new traditions. For some of you, a new language, and it will be stressful. There's no hiding that, but it's a really good kind of stress that will help you grow as a person, as a citizen of the world, and be ready to embrace it and to prosper. You're going to love it here.
Thank you so much, Steve. And thanks to our panelists. Thank you so much for your time today. I know everyone will benefit from your experience and expertise. You're free to turn off your camera and microphones now. Thank you so much. Before we close out today's program, I'd like to direct you to more opportunities to connect with Wahoos in your region. As we mentioned earlier, some of our UVA clubs are sponsoring local in-person admitted student celebrations right now. These will be held through April 28th, which is this Sunday, and are a great opportunity for you to meet fellow Who's in your area, connect with other admitted students, and learn more about UVA experience. You may have already received an email inviting you to one of these events, but you can also see the link in the chat or scan the QR code on your screen to learn more. The Office of Admission has also provided some great opportunity for you to connect with UVA as you make your decision. If you haven't already, please visit the International Studies website for lots of helpful information. And that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and go Who's.